You are now tuning in to the Roughnecks Podcast with your host, Cole Nixon. Much love.
I really hope you guys enjoy today's episode. If you do, then be sure to subscribe, rate, and review, then pay a simple, cheap fee. All I ask is that you like the episode and then maybe share it with a friend you think would enjoy it as well. Help continue to grow this podcast and share the words of wisdom from all my guests that join the show with as many people as possible. As always, be sure to grab the bull by the horns and take control of your life. Let's get into this week's episode. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Roughnecks Podcast. We are in the final month. I know we already had an episode this month, and we got a double episode week. It's been weird trying to get caught back up. I know it's been kind of all crazy, but 2021 has been a crazy ride with you guys, and I appreciate everything you have done to help the podcast. I truly do appreciate you guys. But like I said, we're in December, last month, last topic. This month's topic is for everyone out there who's struggling with something. I think we can all use this at some point in our life, but this month's topic is never give up. And the guests I have coming on this month are awesome people, awesome guests that fit this topic. I don't have a guest today, but I do have a story to tell you guys. It's something that's been mentioned multiple episodes. It's been talked about a lot, and I was kind of afraid to tell the story because of the fact that it is about me and kind of something I went through. And I don't want people to think like I'm full of myself or anything like that. Like, it's just something. It was a learning experience for me, to be honest. And, but as I mentioned, it's been on this podcast multiple times. So I figured, you know what the hell? It's time to tell the story. So the story is, it started my senior year of high school. It was my senior year of high school going into my senior season of football. I was the starting free safety, 3-year starter at Watkins Memorial High School. I was lucky enough to play with some awesome people, got a lot of experience, learned a lot from the people and the coaches that I played for and with and whatnot. But the first game of the year, you do all that work to lead up to your senior season, and it's supposed to be your year and do all this. And then first game of the year, took a tough loss to, I believe it was Whetstone, a game that we should not have lost whatsoever. Took a tough loss, and a lot of us seniors took it real hard. I know I did for sure. I was struggling after that loss, and it was one of those that where do you go from there? Because you shouldn't have lost that game, and it felt like everything you just put the work in for just crashed and burned. Like it was worthless. But we bounced back. Didn't have the season we wanted to have for sure, but we bounced back from that loss and had some real nice wins that we needed. And especially that last one against New York Catholic, for all my walk-ins, fellow football players, you all know it when we're talking about the last game of the year, senior night, got that win against Catholic, which is a big win for us. Not that I hate Catholic, but we don't really like Catholic. But then, all right, so anyway, the story is second game of the year. It's the first home game of the year. We're playing Walnut Ridge, and Walnut Ridge is making a drive on us. First home game, so obviously the stands are packed. There's a lot of people there. And, people expected a lot out of us, especially after the 2 seasons we were coming off of. And, but they're making a drive. That quarterback throws a pass across the middle, and I go up for try and make an interception. Receiver takes my legs out. I come down and fall with my arm straight, landed kind of real awkward straight on my arm, and like felt my shoulder buckle, and just everything did not seem right. I had immediately I had sharp pain straight to my arm, had no clue what was going on. And, my mom raised me not to be a little bitch, but, and my dad, they both raised me not to be a little bitch. And I was like, I'm not coming out, but I was laying on the ground, holding my elbow face down. And, Dante Fair, who you guys are going to get to hear from, he's actually the one who made all the music, but you're going to get to hear from him. I believe in episode 70, he will be on for Q&A Friday. So be sure to send your questions for that. But I remember him walking over, grabbing me by the shoulder pads, picking me up and saying like, "You're good, let's go." And I was like, all right, I guess I'm good. But, I'm playing with pain. I still have no clue what the hell's going on. And I'm sitting there, and 2 plays later, it's 4th down. They're in the red zone. And they throw a pass, and I end up getting an interception. It wasn't like I made a great play. It was kind of more of a bad throw than a great play, but got the interception, went straight to the sideline. Didn't even like necessarily celebrate with my teammates. Got up, ran straight to the sideline, went to the trainer and was like, I don't know what I did with my fucking elbow, but something's wrong. And he's looking at it, they're doing all kinds of stuff. And he said, I think you just hyperextended it. And I was like, all right, well, he's like, you good to play? And I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. Knowing I'm in pain, I'll be all right though. And, I sat there and he taped up. I had tape all over my freaking arm. I looked like JJ Watt out there with a tape brace on. But I went back out, played the rest of the game. And, come that night, I go in the training room after the game. We won that game. It was nice to get that win. First win of the year, first game at home. But I went in training office and he's like, well, it's a little swollen, but we expected that. Throw some ice on it. See me in the morning. We'll go from there. Had trouble sleeping that night. Gonna be honest. I struggled sleeping that night. It was awful. I was in a lot of pain, but I'm like, oh, I'm just kind of being soft, like whatever, I'll be good. And but I go, and next day going to the JV game, didn't really lift much because my arm was in pain. And I'm sitting there and he's like, we're gonna ice all day. That swelling's pretty bad, but we're gonna ice all day and see if it comes down. Iced all day, swelling never came down, which apparently was not good. I didn't know, but he told me that's not good. You got to go get an x-ray. And I was like, yeah, okay. He goes, give me your mom's number. And I was like, why? He goes, because I know you're not going to go get the x-ray. And I was like, it's your senior year of high school, your senior year of football. I had dreams of going to play college football. So I'm like, I don't want to sit out a single game this year. Like football was my life. And I was like, I'm not sitting out. Like I'm fine. He called my mom, made me go get an x-ray, got an x-ray that beginning of next week. And I got the x-rays back and they said, you broke your elbow. And I said, I'm not thinking anything of it. I'm like, all right, when can I be back? That doctor looked at me and said, you're done for the year. And I said, bullshit. Doctors did not like me during this process. I'll be honest. Cause like I said, it's my senior year. Did I handle the situation right? Probably not, but I was pissed. I wanted to play. It was my senior year. Like I wanted to be out there with the kids I grew up with playing football. And so, it was a tough situation for me. I would just watch my senior year disappear after 2 games, and it was tough. And they told me I was done. I was like, there's no way. How can I be done? Like, I know some of you are listening or athletes and you've gone through it. You don't want to sit out. You're like, what? No, I'm fine. Like I can play. And, but I remember going back to practice that day and, I'm walking down the old gravel path to the field for my walk-ins, guys. You guys know what I'm talking about. And Coach Mead walks up to me and goes, he didn't even say anything. He just hugged me because he knew it wasn't good. And I just lost it, started crying. I'll be honest. Like I cried like a little girl. It was tough because I watched my favorite thing disappear. And football was my life. And it mentally fucked me up. I didn't feel like the same person anymore. I know you guys have all gone through it at some point in your life and I've gone through it with more than just football, but where you lose the one thing that makes you feel like somebody. And I watched it just disappear and didn't know what to do. But I took the mindset. We talked about this a little bit in Jeff Severino's episode. You take the mindset of, well, it's adversity. What are you going to do about it? Like you're going to go through adversity in life. You're going to go through hard things in life. Like things are never going to go right. You're going to get dealt bad cards. But what are you going to do about it? It's all about how you bounce back. And I told myself, you know what? Because we had a freshman that replaced me at this free safety position. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to do everything I can to get this guy ready for every game this year. Because I'll be damned if I let somebody come in, make my position look bad. I wouldn't take no for an answer either. They said, you're not going to play the rest of the year. And I forced myself to make a comeback because I'm like, no one's telling me what to do. Like I'm not sitting out the entire year. I'm coming back because I want to go play college football. And doctors did not like me with the x-rays. Was kind of a dickhead to him, I'll be honest. And by the way, people, if you're going through an injury right now, don't be mean to your doctors and trainers because they're the ones who clear you. So be nice to them. I mean, don't let them try and milk it if you want to play, but don't be mean to him because I think that was part of my problem as well. But he ended up letting me come back in week 8. So I got 3 games. I played 5 games that year. I missed half my season. Made a comeback in week 8 against Lakewood and got, second series I was in. Didn't play the whole first half, but second series, kid came across the middle. It's a safety's dream when you have somebody coming across the middle and that quarterback throws the ball and they don't see you. Got a nice hit on somebody, and then later in the game, got a nice interception. Like I said, I'm not trying to make this episode all about me and full of myself. Like, I was not a stud. I went to a D3 college. Yeah, I played. That's about it. I was nowhere near, people you're going to see on Sundays. But the point of this story is like the reason I'm telling you is I'm not trying to make it sound like all about myself and give me this storybook ending and everything just worked out exactly how it's supposed to. Is like, truth is, like, yeah, it did, but it didn't. I missed out 5 games. It was never, I never wanted to sit out. I never wanted to get hurt. And like I said, it fucked me up mentally. Like it's still taking me a while to get back to that person that I was before I went through an injury. And I think it changed me a little bit, and I let it change me. That's the thing, is you can't let it change you, but you're not always going to get the best cards in life. That's the point I want to get across. And the main point is to never give up. Don't quit. Like, don't give up on your family. Don't give up on your friends. Don't give up on your team, your boss, your whatever it is, your significant other. I don't care what it is. The most important thing, though, is never give up on yourself either. That's something I think I did. Keep going and keep doing it for you. Be your reason why. Because you never know what the hell's going to happen. If I would have just laid down and gave up, my life would have been completely different. I gave up on a podcast. I never know what it could have been. But I won't give up on this one. I'll be damned if I give up on this one. I love this one. I love you guys that listen, and I'm not going to give up. But like, I wanted to quit so many things in life at so many points, and I have quit. And it just sat there. Sometimes you sit there and you play the what if game, and it's not good to play the what if game. I'm just going to say that. Don't play the what if game, please. It's terrible. But you never know where things are going to go if you just keep pushing. That's the point of this episode, is to just keep going. I'm going to answer one of the questions that I ask all my guests on here. So we're taking a little bit of a shift, but as you guys know, who are loyal listeners, I ask all my guests, if you go back in time, tell your 16-year-old self one thing, what would it be? For the purpose of this episode, I'm going to change 16 to 18 because I was 18 when this circumstance happened. And I just tell myself to keep fighting. Because there was times I got down. I about quit. I pretty much did quit at some points. Never give up. We all have those tough points in our life where we don't know if we can keep going. Trust me. Keep pushing. You're going to surprise yourself. I've done that multiple times, and I'll be honest, things have been great for me lately. But it's because I kept pushing. You got to keep going. My life is not all sunshine and rainbows. It's tough, but you can't let that bring others down. And you can't let it bring you down. But like I said, keep fighting, keep pushing, and never give up. But now it's time for the best segment of the podcast. It's Motivation Monday time, y'all. Motivation Monday is usually the point in the episode where I allow a guest to give the Roughnecks listeners a little inspirational bump to set the tone while they listen on Monday morning. But it's my turn to give y'all Motivation Monday. And for today's Motivation Monday, I have something that I've used multiple times on this podcast, and I have a picture of it, or a poster of it, there we go, in my room. So instead of explaining it, here's the clip I want y'all to listen to.
You ain't gonna believe this, but you used to fit right here. I'd hold you up, your mother. This kid's gonna be the best kid in the world. This kid's gonna be somebody better than anybody ever knew. And you grew up good and wonderful. It was great just watching you every day. It was like a privilege. Then the time come for you to be your own man and take on the world, and you did. But somewhere along the line, you changed. You stopped being you. You let people stick a finger in your face and tell you you're no good. And when things got hard, you start something to blame. like a big shadow. Let me tell you something you already know. The world ain't all sunshine and rainbows. It's a very mean and nasty place, and I don't care how tough you are, it will beat you to your knees and keep you there permanently if you let it. You, me, or nobody. It's just life. But it ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done. Now, if you know what you're worth, now go out and get what you're worth. But you gotta be willing to take the hits and not pointing fingers saying you ain't where you wanna be because of him or her or anybody. Cowards do that, and that ain't you. You're better than that.
The world ain't always going to be sunshine and rainbows, people. It's a very mean, nasty place, but you got to keep fighting. And with that, that's a wrap. On the 64th episode of the Roughnecks podcast, we have 3 more episodes this month, and trust me, fire guest, awesome guest. You will not want to miss these, especially that last episode of the year. Hint, hint. I've said this multiple times. You don't want to miss that episode. But don't forget, we have Q&A Fridays every 10 episodes. So episode 60, 70, 80, all the way for the rest of this time. Every 10 episodes, we're going to have Q&A Friday. Episode 70 is coming up. We're already in 64. By the end of this month, we'll be at 67. So it'll be here before we know it. I do have a guest already lined up, Dante Fair, for episode 70. So be sure, if you want us to answer your questions, any question, we might not get to them on that episode, but if you ever have a question that you want answered, email it to roughneckspodcast@gmail.com, or just shoot us a message on social media, whatever it is. But another thing, also go over to TikTok and follow the Roughnecks podcast on there. It's at Roughnecks Podcast. Once we get to 1,000 followers, I'll be giving away one of these hats. I know some of y'all want these hats. Some of y'all have them, and I appreciate it, but I'll be giving away one of these hats once we get to 1,000 followers. So go over there, follow. You have to be following to enter in that giveaway anyway. It'll be a TikTok exclusive giveaway. But that's all I got for episode 64 of the Roughnecks podcast, and y'all know the deal. Life is hard. It's going to knock you down just like a bull does to a bull rider. Don't let the bull of life walk all over you. Get up, grab the bull by the horns, and take control of your life. Roughnecks, out. Thank you guys for tuning in to this week's episode of the Roughnecks podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, then do a couple things for me if you would. Subscribe, rate, and review so you don't miss any of our future episodes. Then share this episode with a friend so that we can continue to spread this podcast and share my guest stories and advice. You guys know the deal, though. Until next time, be sure to grab the bull by the horns and take control of your life. Roughnecks, out.
Oh, thank you.